Hi there, I'm Lisa. This is Ted, my partner, and their best friend, Hans the dog. On the 18th of March 2020, when COVID-19 spanned the globe and the world began to lock down, we decided to turn our lives upside down and begin the adventure of a lifetime. We threw in our jobs, packed up the car and purchased this 14th century monument historique de France.
You have arrived.
Woohoo!
We have arrived.
With no previous experience, just £80,000 budget and a tent as a temporary residence, we plan to renovate this former House of Demolition into a family home and thriving business. Learning new skills along the way, we have 1 year to bring this ancient relay de post back to life. We invite you to come along for the ride, so strap yourselves in and let the fun begin.
Thanks, say good morning.
Cheers, baby.
Cheers.
Good morning.
Good morning to you too.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to week 30 at Chateau De Montmagner. Breakfast time!
Stay at this table.
I know, it's becoming more like another workshop in there, isn't it?
Well, it's becoming more like a...
Week 30 at Chateau De Montmagner has been a bit strange, isn't it, this week? Now, we promised you an update, a recap on apartment 2. That is going to happen. However, first, at the beginning of this week, on Sunday, we had our normal bald egg and soldiers and did our list of jobs for this week. And then I wrote the list up on the edge of the fridge because our chalkboards that we had before didn't give us enough space.
Well, they also run out as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
And we found out that we had whiteboard markers. And if you put it on the fridge, it wipes off.
Cool.
Although, no, nobody's wiped anything off yet.
So anyway, at the beginning of this week, we had 33 jobs left to complete before finishing apartment 2. Now, last week we did say we was hoping to give the big reveal this week. However, 33 jobs, you may think is a little bit ambitious.
In a week. I did.
Yeah, I think we agree with you. We didn't do bad though, did we?
No, I think we got a third of those jobs done. One of the other revelations for me is the fact that when we were in England, we would always buy like bacon, you know, the back bacon you get, like a back and a pig are together. And you buy that bacon, and Elisa would always buy that bacon because she said, oh, no, I can't possibly eat streaky bacon because there's too much fat in it. However, in France, and in the supermarkets that we go into, you can't buy back bacon, but you can buy streaky. So the lovely thing now is Lisa has got over that, the back bacon thing, and is now eating streaky bacon.
I don't like it as much.
I don't care whether she likes it or not. What I care about is that I get a bacon sandwich.
It's all right, it needs mustard and all that, but it's not as nice as smoky back bacon. Okay, so update on this week, but firstly we would like to say a huge thank you to Eric and Johnson and Gurpreet for your donation to the GoFundMe page. Thank you so much for that.
Thank
Very
you.
kind of you.
It's wonderful.
The roof has obviously we have gone into lockdown here in France again, you probably all know that, so the roof is again delayed slightly. It now looks like it's going to be happening on the 11th, and that's down to actually deliveries being delayed, the materials being delayed. So what we're going to show you now is a recap of what actually happened in apartment 2, which we are now calling the Jean Pierre Suite. It's been officially named the Jean Pierre Suite.
We had a celebrity come over and cut the ribbon. And the celebrity was...
Super Dave.
No, it was the post lady. We finally let her in.
The dog finally let her in.
Yeah, the dog finally let her in and didn't eat her. Which was a result. Because she's such a lovely lady. No, yeah, so it would... And for anybody who doesn't know, I don't think there is anybody who doesn't know, but the reason why Jean Pierre Suite, thank you very much, is because our former mayor, Jean Pierre Drew, I think, you know, I'm not sure, I'm absolutely not pronouncing that properly. He was mayor once removed, if you like. 33 years he was mayor. Been on the town council for over 40 years. And he was actually born in apartment 2. So I think it was fitting tribute to him. And again, he's a lovely man. Really, you know, knows lots and lots of history of this place. And we thought it was fitting tribute that we christened that suite after him.
The Jean Pierre Suite.
The Jean Pierre Suite. And I think it's good. It's good now.
So this is a recap. Now, when I went through and got all the videos together of apartment 2 and looked at what we'd actually done in there, there's loads.
There is quite a lot.
There's a lot. And it goes on forever. So we're actually going to have to do this in 2 parts, I'm afraid. We're going to upload the first part this weekend, and then we'll upload part 2 midweek. And then the following week will be where you actually get to see the full vision of where we're at, even if we're not totally finished, where we're at next weekend.
Yeah. The reason why we're doing it in 2 parts is, yeah, twofold. One, because it's considerably long video. But the second part is that if we don't do it in 2 parts, my mother will never get dressed on a Sunday morning. and that was a request from her. Please don't do it in one video because I will never get dressed on Sunday morning. So there you go, Mum. It's for you.
So, but just before we do the recap, there is one really important factor that I need to mention that's very upsetting. It's
I don't think
very serious.
Yeah. It's somebody put a comment on about Just and Only. I don't know who Just and Only are, but they put a comment about Just and Only, and this is a Just and Only moment, and I think you'll know what we're talking about when you hear that.
I might have to get the tissues. Hang on a second.
We've had some serious news from here, and I don't really know how to put it, but. Well, I'm just going to come out and say it. I can't dress it. I can't, you know. I'm just going to come out and say it. Lisa's out of tea bags. Now, as a man who can drink tea, coffee, water, whatever, it's fine.
Tea bags.
But as a woman who probably drinks 10 to 12 cups of tea a day, this is a serious business.
And the problem is, this is a ridiculous thing. So we are in the Haute-Vienne, and we border Le Creuset. Now, the nearest supermarket, 10 minutes down the road, is in Le Souterrain, which is Le Creuset. We're not allowed to cross departments, so we can't go to our nearest supermarket. And our other supermarket, which is closer, which is 20 minutes away, 15, the little...
Well, Central Peace?
Yeah.
Yeah,
15? About 15 minutes away, is a really tiny little, it's like more like what in the UK we'd call like a corner shop. And they do not do any English tea. And I can't stand this herbal stuff. Sorry, but I just can't do the herbal stuff. So if anybody out there isn't on lockdown and they can possibly do a delivery of tea bags.
It's not, and don't panic. She doesn't do the PG, she doesn't do the Tetley, she doesn't do the Yorkshire, doesn't do any of that. What she likes, and I agree with her, is Stockwell tea bags. They come in a blue box, and you can get 80 for about 50 pence.
57 pence.
57 pence in Tesco's.
If not Stockwell, then I will resort to Tetley.
She did an online Tesco's delivery thing, but they wanted 230 quid for delivery. And the bloke couldn't guarantee when he'd come. I even like the Stockwell coffee, and because I'm not fussy. You can tell I'm not fussy. Look at the state of me. I'm not a fussy man.
Okay, shall we crack on with the recap of Apartment 2? Yeah. It's quite exciting, and it was quite nice looking through it. But yeah, let's crack on and look at the recap of what happened in Apartment 2.
And I'm going to go and put the kettle on.
So this is what the Jean Pierre Suite looked like originally when we first arrived. It was probably the least cluttered of all the house. However, there was still a lot of stuff for us to get out. It originally consisted of one salon area and 2 bedrooms and a beautiful floor. Now, I do apologise for the camera quality, but when we first arrived, there was no lighting, no heating, no electricity, no running water. So we was just videoing off of our phone. And as you see, the quality is quite poor. This is the first bedroom, and it was stacked full of boxes and boxes of books. The previous owner was an author, and he kept so many of his books that he'd written, but also research books and paperwork. And this is the other bedroom. This is where we found an awful lot of books that date back to the 18th and 19th century. These will be displayed in our library eventually. And there was an awful lot of cobwebs as well, as you can see. Now, the first job of the day was for Ted to make a chute for us to be able to get all of the books out of the chateau, rather than taking them up and down the spiral staircase.
Like that, yeah.
Right, come on. We've got a sheet. We've got a sheet. We've got a sheet.
After clearing out the rooms, it was then time to bring down all of the walls and open it up into one huge space so that we could then plan what we was going to do with it.
Ted's new learnt skill that Paul the builders taught him, how to do studding. Is that what you call it, studding?
Stud walls, like putting framework up to put plasterboard on.
So now, with the stud walling up around the outside of the walls, it was time to look at the actual dividing of the rooms. The plan was to reinstate the salon area, have one very large bedroom and an ensuite bathroom. So with the bathroom partitioning in place, there was just the central wall to do, but first the electrics had to go in. For that, we called in the big boys. So with all the electrics in place, it was now time to put up the central wall. So our first point of call this morning was a delivery from Big Matt. It's the waterproof plasterboard. But our first problem is, how are we going to get it up the stairs onto the second floor? Now, because this stuff is so heavy, we had to bring in the big guns, Andy Andrew and Paul, the builders, have come to lend a hand.
Okay, tie off onto that thing. Well, we're going to have to test run it, aren't we? Next one you buy with bigger windows. Yeah, next one I'll cut the door. Nice. Proper staircase. Yeah.
The first attempt was to get them through the top window, but this didn't work. The second attempt was to try to get them up the staircase, but as you can see, this was a failed attempt. And back out it came. So we then went on for a third attempt.
Walk in first. Which way do you want to go? Up that way? Yeah. 2, 3. You okay? Yep.
This Landy came up with a great idea. Why don't we just lift the floorboards in apartment 4 and pass the plasterboards up through the joists and lift them up onto the second floor. So this is what we did. Okay, we're back in apartment 2. You saw us bringing up the waterproof plasterboard, which is a bit of a task, but we've got it up here. But we're not working on that today yet. That's going in the bathroom. Today we're working on insulating and putting up the plasterboard wall around the rest of the room. So my job was to cut all the insulation and put it in place so Ted could then come behind and put the plasterboard up. Oh look, Teddy Bear's come to inspect my work.
Stunning. I think it's absolutely brilliant job.
Yeah?
Fantastic job. I definitely could have not done no better myself.
So over to you in plasterboarding.
A lot worse. Well, that's the. Now I've got the easy bit to do.
Yeah. Now Ted's job was to put up the plasterboard. So this will be the lounge area. Little kitchenette where Ted's standing. And then door here through to the bedroom.
Desk at the window. There'll be built-in wardrobes there that Ted's got to make. Bed cupboard out there. In the corner is where the ballon will go, in a little cupboard. And then a door through to the bathroom.
All that was left to finish the day was a victory dance.
Even if it takes all night, even if it takes all day, oh you, I love you too. Oh, treat yourself right, come with me, say I do. Oh, boom, blah, boom, boom. Oh, boom, blah, boom, boom. Oh, boom, blah, boom, boom. I did it!
So next, it was time to work on the ceiling. Now the first step was to batten the ceiling, then to insulate it, and then put in the plasterboard.
So these beams are nearly 6 inches, 150 mil thick, and about, yeah, they're over 6 inches thick that way, wide.
Okay, let's get started.
And just a little point, there's 36, 16 in here, 16 obviously next door, 36 beams. With the ends, that's 68 battens we've got to do in pretty much every room.
Should we get started?
Should we crack on? Because it's going to be a long job.
Together we stand, divided we fall. Come on now people, let's get on the ball and work together. Come on, let's work together. Because together we will stand, every boy, girl, woman and a man. People, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and the road that you travel stays all uphill, let's work together. Come on, let's work together. Oh, now people, together we will stand, every boy, girl, woman and a man. Oh, when not 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 hours.
Plan
Yeah, I think that'll work. I think that'll work much better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will.
So we just cut them all at 273.
273, then cut that into threes, and then put the holes in it. And then Bob's your uncle.
Put screws in it.
And Fanny's your aunt.
Yeah. Robert's his usual mother's brother. Have you not heard that one before?
I love it when me and Ted work together on something. It's good fun. Most of the time we're in separate rooms doing separate things, but today we're in one room doing the same thing.
That has no nails in it.
Right, nails. Where are they?
All the way into the shed, left hand side, just opposite by the bench, left hand side of the cabinets on the side, on the bottom shelf. You know, when the used to be bathroom.
Yeah.
You can't get it.
On the used to be the bathroom.
Used to be the bathroom. They might be. If I have, they might be on the bench. It used to be the bathroom drawer.
Cabinet.
Yeah, thing over the toilet, and they're on the bottom. 63 mil. And they're in a black box, little black box, 63 mil. Bring 2 lots.
Is that?
63 mil.
Is that?
No,
I
darling.
don't have my glasses on.
Oh,
What, they're the long ones?
63 mil.
63 mil.
It's alright, okay.
Oh, I can get
Yeah, I'll get it. What's that say?
I haven't got my
32.
glasses on. Should have bought one of each.
Should have brought.
And voila, the job is complete. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
And Rod is indeed your mother's brother.
In the meantime, Ted had been building the water ballon cupboard. It was now time to get that water ballon into the cupboard.
Pick it up together and lean it on these,
Lean it on one of
which
those.
will give you a chance to then get round it. You hold it up and I jiggle it in, yeah?
What?
You hold it up, I jiggle it in.
Yeah.
That- The bottom on, top's on.
Okay. Bottom one, top one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all there, right?
So if I hold it in and then you...
Right.
Voila! We have water heater!
We're going to get dirty.
Not got any water in it yet, and it's not installed, but it's on the wall. Yeah. Is it level? Whoa! Well done, baby.
So fairer than that, can you?
You can't say fairer than that.
Right, that's just because, I'll tell you now, it's just because Andy said, oh, you won't have a water tank on. Mr. Martin, water tank on.
The next job was the taping and jointing of the walls and the ceiling.
This is this front.
That's nice and smooth.
Well, me or that?
Oh, that haircut, sunshine.
You turn into it.
So after a quick tutorial from Paul, Ted then gets a go of it himself.
On there at any one time.
Down the trail. They're sharp, mate.
They are sharp,
They're sharp, mate.
But you've got two bits of steel going against them.
Oh, I
haven't
know,
you?
mate.
Yeah.
You have to be careful, mate.
I'll just go and clean it up. Shall I?
Go get past that.
They're
I'll
right.
take over, babe, while you go and get past. Like this,
Then you go and have a little snibble downstairs. To sort yourself.
I'll go and cut them like dogs, I think.
And your right hand and that, and then ease that onto the, start at the bottom, and ease that onto the jaw. So, yeah, like, you got the right idea.
So tape and jointing of the walls complete.
Last week's video
saw me start the process of making doors for the apartments. The main body was made up from 140mm by 2 meters tongue and groove, 4 planks glued together and clamped overnight. Then I cut down 2 separate pieces to either side of the door to make a total of 800mm by 2 meters. I then ripped down some more planks, tongue and groove, on the table saw to make the bracing. This week you will see the final process.
Good morning, everybody. We are in the workshop and we are going to be finishing off the door today. It's a prototype, so hopefully things go well, because I'm going to have to repeat this 4 or 5 times, probably more.
So the next stage was to chamfer the edges on the bracing pieces. So the next stage in the process was to stick the bracing pieces onto the actual door, but I glued that and screwed it on with chipboard, sorry, not chipboard screws, plasterboard screws, because it was the only black-headed ones I want, and the governor wanted black-headed screws, so that's what we had to do. And as you see there, I'm gluing it up using the old Type Bond stuff, which I think is brilliant. And as you see, I'm just tightening them up with a hand screwdriver, purely so I don't overdo it and don't go through the surface of the wood. And there you see the finished article, all braced up, ready for the finish to be put on.
So here we have it, one finished door. Just a few more to go, Ted.
Mr. Safety.
Next job on the list for Ted was to make the door frames.
$860 by 100 by 10.
Good old trusty DeWalt nail gun. Look at that. Baby, you are the best.
MDF in, first layer. What we do on now is we put our pine floorboard onto this to make up my 30mm door lining. So I'm going to have 30mm door lining all round. As it happens, here's one I made earlier. So there you go. This is the door into the bathroom from the lounge.
So with the doors complete, it's now onto the bathroom walls and sanding them down. Then fit the plasterboard around the insert for the toilet.
Up to you, Don. Up to you.
Now my next job took me a whole week. It was taping and jointing the ceiling. And I'm pretty proud of it, I have to say. If it's one job that I've learnt during the process of renovating this place so far, this has got to be my best.
What do you want? What do you want round here? Come round here with your fancy camera. Think you're going to take pictures of me? Well, you got another thing coming, ain't you?
Get on and do your work.
Sorry.
We're here on a, I don't know what day, I can't remember what day it is. Terrible. Covered in white thing because I've been sanding again. Sanding around the top of the shower area in the bathroom. But it's a bit of a momentous day in the life of this place. And I'll try and get t'other half in. Because she's up a ladder, as you see. Look at that fancy tool belt.
On her day off.
On her day off. We said we were going to have the weekend off. So you now know it's the weekend. But what we're going to do today is we're going to actually put paint on a wall.
Woo!
So I've mixed up some...
Yay! We get to paint!
It's only acrylic primer and it's been mixed 50-50 with water just to do what they call a mist coat for the plasterboard. So we'll do that now and then we'll come back and show you what it looks like. It'll look horrible. But it's a bit of a milestone for us. So, this stuff is perfect for this. You don't have to be very precise, but you know.
You don't want drips though, still.
You don't want drips, and you don't obviously want it on the beams because it's just added work to get it off.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that things to get it off. But I am going to do me MDF, and that's really I did have a comment about somebody saying, oh, you know, if MDF, if that gets wet, you'll be sorry. Well, it's getting wet now, but it's being sealed, so that's the nice thing. And all these edges,
So can we just go?
Lisa, you can possibly do that. I couldn't possibly comment, but
So while Ted cracks on with mist coating the bathroom, I crack on with mist coating the salon.
Can't wait. Pardon?
We spend our lives.
We spend a life in apartment 2. Can't wait to get this finished now because I'm just getting a bit bored of it. Bored of painting the ceiling. But it's getting there. It is getting there. So, what we've done this week is really concentrate on the ceiling, and I must show you the ceiling because I think we're really proud of the ceiling. So, obviously you saw before Ted put the plasterboard up, but it's now all been, it was mist coated, it's now had 2 coats of emulsion paint, and I think it looks fab. It makes the beams look great. They haven't even treated the beams yet, they've still got to have a treatment on them, which is just a protector. But yeah, I think it looks amazing. The walls have come up absolutely brilliant. I think for our first job on the ceiling of tape and jointing, I think we have done a bloody good job. I have to say, it's pat on the back time for us, baby. So, hello. That is a recap for this week. Part 2 will be uploaded on Wednesday. And then we will give you the up-to-date on where we're at the moment with apartment 2. It's exciting, and there's loads going on, and we're getting through that list. Eventually, we will get there.
we will get there. We will get there. We did say the end of the month,
Yeah.
and that's today.
Oh, God. Anyway, thank you all for watching. See you Wednesday this week. Take care, everyone. Love you all.
Take care. Bye.
We would like to say a huge thank you to all of our supporters, all of our patrons, and all of our donors to our GoFundMe page. If you would like to help support us in bringing this beautiful historical monument back to life, please visit our pages. The links are in the description.
More, I want more, so much more. Always really knew what I was looking for. Someone to share my dreams, someone to follow me. Make me happy, set me free. Is this dinner time? It'd be dinner time, I think.